The Jacobs Ladder Show is the online radio show keeping you in the loop on the real Las Vegas entrepreneurs, business professionals, artists, actors, creators, entertainers, foreign embassy consuls, and personalities. Join us on the Jacobs Ladder Show with Carolyn and Stephen Jacobs, and listen in on the discussions with these Las Vegas leaders on personal stories and topics like exploits, ventures, anecdotes, career changes, and successes. Now, here's Carolyn and Stephen Jacobs.
Hello, you are listening to Carolyn Jacobs with the Jacobs Ladder Show. We're here every Tuesday from noon until 2 p.m., and we feature one guest per hour. You can always find our archived shows at www.JacobsLadderShow.com. In fact, this interview today with my very special guest will be probably up about Friday. And at that point, you can always refer people who you want to listen to this after you've heard it today, that will be a good opportunity for them to listen to my very special guest, which is Sherry Gordy. Sherry, good to have you on our show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hi, Carolyn. How are you today?
Doing great. I know Steve and I just saw you Thursday night.
Yes.
And what we're referring to is that Sherry has a great program going on. She has a fabulous show every Thursday night at Fiesta Rancho, and it's called Sherry Gordy Presents. Why don't you tell our listening audience just a little bit about that?
Okay. It's called Sherry Gordy Presents Take the Stage. And so we have a lot of professional and semi-professional artists come and perform to our live band, which is Rhythm Nation Band, and featuring Billy Nunn. And they come up and they just, sing their songs.
You know what I love about it is because you're being very modest, because you have a phenomenal list of guest performers.
Yes.
And a phenomenal list of hosts.
Yes.
Plus you have special guests come on. You've got some very special awards, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But how we always start our show is so that the listening audience knows more about you personally and your whole background.
Okay.
Where were you born?
I was born in Detroit, Michigan.
Now, that's interesting because you grew up basically in L.A., though.
Right. When I was 6 years old, we moved to.
And what did your mother do?
She's in the music business. She's a veteran. She's a songwriter. She has a lot of songs. She has a song on the ABC Jackson 5 album and a list of artists.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, as you can probably guess from her name, Sherry Gordy, and who was your father?
Barry Gordy.
And we're talking about the founder of Motown.
Yes.
So what was that like, having actually two parents in the music industry?
I really didn't. It was just normal. I didn't know any different. I mean, it was just, I didn't know that's what.
Okay, so you thought this was an average life, because
Yes.
when we think about this, you're around some legends of
Yes.
Motown,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like your babysitters and
Right.
people you hung out with. So
Right.
why don't you tell our listening audience who some of these people were?
I had so many babysitters. Well, I had, of course, Bobby Taylor. He's with Bobby Taylor of the Vancouvers. And I had, of course, Richard Street. Those two babysat me together. Richard Street was a former Temptation. And then my mother just told me the other night, because I was telling her about Craig Knight over at 88.1, and I said, he's the general manager over there. She goes, Craig? I said, you know Craig? How do you know Craig? She goes, of course I know Craig. She goes, Miss Knight used to take care of you two together, and you guys used to play together. And I said, Miss Knight? What were you talking about? Gladys Knight? She goes, no, Miss Knight. Like the mother of Bubba Knight, And I was like, of Gladys Knight. I was like, really? I said, I remember a boy being around. So, I mean, so just like so many people, I mean, that just, Mona Holland, she's the niece of the Holland brothers. She was one of my main babysitters as well. And just a list. I mean, my cousin Robert here can probably enlighten us on more of our babysitters.
Oh, that's great. And we'll hear a little bit more from your cousin Robert Gordy Jr. and but also Marvin Gaye was your uncle-in-law?
Yeah, Uncle Marvin, yeah.
I mean, when you start thinking about this.
Yeah, he was married to our Aunt Anna, who just made her transition a couple weeks ago.
I saw that. Yeah. Sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
It sounded like she was surrounded by a huge family.
Right.
Of love.
She was like the matriarch of our family, and she got my dad started, actually. So it was Anna Records.
I did not
First,
realize
yeah,
that.
she's the big sister. And so now we had a good home going for her, and she's now with the rest of her brothers and sisters and her mom and dad, and so it's just me and Robert's dad is left from that group.
Oh, my. And you start thinking about the legends of this. And Stephen and I just happened to be there Thursday night, and you had a very special guest at Sherry Gordy's Present. And who was that?
That was my daddy.
That was pretty impressive.
That was so fun. I was so nervous.
Now, when you look at your Facebook, you can see all the photos of you and him together. Oh, my God. And you look at your faces. It's like there's no doubt whose daughter you are.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, my mom calls us Mutt and Jeff.
Now, if someone wants to know more about Sherry Gordy Presents and your show and how to attend, where would they go for that? What website would you like?
They would go to Sherry Gordy Presents, plural.com. No, Sherry Gordy Presents.
And can they also go to your Facebook?
They can go to my Facebook. I'm under Sherry Gordy Presents on there, and Sherry Gordy. And I'm on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter.
Don't you have social media?
Yeah. And Instagram. I'm just learning Instagram.
Well, you're much better than I am. I did one shot and that was it. So. Oh, my God. So this is, now, so you're in, you moved from Detroit to L.A.
Right.
When you're about 6 years old.
Right.
And then you went to school there?
Yes.
And you also went to, I'm looking at this, you also went to UCLA?
Yes, I went to UCLA and Santa Monica College.
And then you went to University High School?
Yep, I went to uni.
Now, we're talking about, this is a high school that a lot of celebrity children go to.
Yeah, right.
So who were some of your classmates?
Oh, I can't remember. I was going to tell my age now. No.
No, okay, you're good.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And how unfair of me, because that's one thing you never ask a woman is how old she is and how much she weighs. So that's why I stay away from those two subjects regarding that. Well, let's talk. So you got your education at UCLA, and you actually became a businesswoman in the mortgage industry.
Yes, I'm still currently a real estate broker, and I specialize in mortgages. So when the market took a curve, I was at my, what do you call it? I was reinventing myself. So I was like.
Now, I find that interesting because you actually came to L.A. because you were opening up an office for a mortgage.
That's why I came to Vegas, right. I was in the corporate headquarters in Los Angeles. It was Ames Home Loan. They're still here. They're still around. And
you were with them a long time.
Yeah. About 10 years.
So how did you get into real estate and mortgages in the first place?
Well, I was selling timeshares, and then I said, wow, I can really make a lot more money if I sell homes, so because it was so easy.
Now, where were the timeshares that you were selling?
It was some company way back that I think they're still around. I think Glen Ivy or something was the name of them.
Okay, and so where were the timeshares located that you were selling?
They were all over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all
I know
over.
Stephen and we have been down Cabo timeshares and also Orlando, which seem to be destination or resort destination.
Right. I've also worked for Diamond Resorts here locally.
Ah.
Yeah, which is a great company. And I love looking at architecture and homes. I probably maybe should have been an architecture because I loved, real estate, being able to look at homes. And I worked for some really great, I worked for Elaine Young, the wife of the late Gig Young.
Very famous
when I started.
realtor.
Yeah, very famous realtor. So that's where I got my training from.
Oh, my gosh.
I was right under her. Right under her wing.
Now, that's impressive because she really was a groundbreaker as far as the celebrity real estate, or realtor, let me say.
Right.
And capitalizing on that. In fact, wasn't a movie based on her, a TV movie where she would actually sell houses and it would throw in, like, let's say, a Bentley or a car that was in the garage or something like that?
I think so, yeah. She did Elvis Presley. I mean, she sold everybody. It was so great, and she hired me as her personal assistant.
Oh, my.
And so then when she left, then that's when I got into mortgages.
Now, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I didn't know what to do. I was like, So when they closed down, it was called Alvarez, Highland and Young, and they were in Beverly Hills.
Yes.
And so
I remember
Alvarez
that.
died, and then now she passed. And so now it's Hilton Highland. So Jeff Highland is still a good friend of mine.
So then you started working for the mortgage company. So you're working in L.A. So how long in L.A. did you work?
For a couple years, and then they started sending me out on the road. And I didn't want to go. It was like a baby leave, home. I was like, I want to stay in corporate. And everybody said, no, you don't. You want to get out of here because nobody's watching you every second. So I said, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And so finally I came to Vegas just for 2 weeks to fill in for the manager.
Now, had you been in Vegas before?
Oh, yeah, many times.
So just for trips?
Yeah,
visits?
Trips with my dad and just, and then so when I was landing, I said, I feel like I'm at home. And so I told the staff when I got to the office, they had a warm welcome for me, and they said, you should apply for the management position. And they said, someone just applied that has 20 years experience. Well, I only had 2 years at the time. And I said, really? So I applied, and they didn't hire me as manager yet, but they, hired me. I got to stay here, and then traveled the world opening up mortgages the offices all over the country for the Ames, and then they finally gave me a management position.
Now that's impressive because that's based on your ability, not a name,
right,
but it's based
right,
on your skill and your
right,
ability as a businesswoman.
Right.
I love that.
I had to work so hard to prove myself.
And you did it all on your own.
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah.
Now when I'm talking about, because I'm a real estate broker, so I know how hard it is. And I was a real estate broker for California for a number of years, and I decided when Stephen and I moved to Vegas here, I decided not to do that because obviously the real estate crunch in 2008 and that affected everything.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
It affected you as well.
Right. I was vice president of a big mortgage company at that time.
And so what was your next step you decided?
After that, I just took a break for a while, actually, because I was just devastated. Just really devastated. So I just took a break. I was married, and I just was a housewife for a minute. And that is actually great to basically get together and think about what you want to do. And you have children? Yes. I have 2 children, and I have 2 grandchildren.
Well, oh, my God. Now, to our listening audience.
I started really young as a teenager.
I was going to say, this woman is so beautiful with not a line on her face. So it's hard. I would have never have known. Never have known.
Yes, they're just 1 and 2, I think.
Oh, my gosh. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's family is great.
I'm not the typical grandmother. Like I should be babysitting.
Sherry, there's nothing typical about you. Especially when you think about your heritage. Now, you have a musical mother. You obviously have a musical father. Why didn't you think about music before?
Actually, I did. I wanted to be a manager before I became, of course, a mortgage broker, and then I wanted to be in acting, and so I just went through the pros and cons, and I decided to go into mortgage and be a businesswoman, and I'm glad I did because I learned so much, learned so much.
Well, it's great to have that business background because it really applies to everything you do in life.
Right.
And especially running a management company regarding that. Because I know we want to discuss a little bit more about how you got into Sherry Gordy's Presents, because that is a lot of work. And you're putting on a weekly show.
Right.
And I want to discuss that. Plus the fact you actually started a sister show in Houston, which was like a 5-week contest.
Right.
And then I want to discuss more about that. But before we go into our break, I wanted to mention that this segment of our show is brought to you by the Las Vegas Distillery. And it is actually the first distillery that is in Vegas. And they use homegrown grains, so from Winnemucca. So here it is, a local distillery, the first one in Nevada, and they're using Nevada products. So we're impressed with that, so that's why they're one of our sponsors. So at this point, I'd like to basically go into a word from our sponsors, and we'll start with the Las Vegas Distillery. Let me introduce you to the Las Vegas Distillery. It is the first artesian craft distillery in the history of Nevada. They manufacture in the traditional way from grain to bottle. Their handcrafted spirits include vodka, gin, rum, whiskey, bourbon, moonshine, and the house specialty created in Las Vegas called the Rumsky, a blend of rum and whiskey. The Las Vegas Distillery uses grains grown in Nevada by Winnemucca Farms. They distill in small batches and are an open distillery. Come and take a tour Monday through Saturday at 7330 Eastgate Road, Suite number 100 in Henderson. You can go to the website www.lasvegasdistillery.com. Support our local businesses. Remember the Las Vegas Distillery for your events, office, and private parties. Think local, drink local. The Las Vegas Distillery.
Raiding the Rock Vault, the ultimate classic rock concert by those who rock it, is back in Las Vegas in the famous showroom at the LVH Hotel and Casino. Raiding the Rock Vault is the story of classic rock, performed by the members of some of the greatest rock bands in rock history, with classic songs from the Rolling Stones, The Who, The Doors, The Eagles, Queen, AC/DC, Deep Purple, Journey, and more. Written by Grammy Award-winning producer David Kirschenbaum and producer John Payne. This all-star concert features guitarist Doug Aldrich, guitarist Howard Leese, lead vocals by Robin McCulley, Paul Shortino, and Andrew Freeman, drummer Jay Schilling, and keyboardist Michael T. Ross, with lead vocals and bass guitar by John Payne. This live concert experience starts at 8 p.m. Fridays through Tuesdays in the LVH Hotel Casino showroom. Get your tickets now at the LVH.com or call 800-222-5361 or visit the LVH box office. Remember to like Raiding the Rock Vault on Facebook. See you there. It's all rock and roll, baby.
Welcome back to Carolyn Jacobs with the Jacobs Ladder Show. Stephen and I are here every Tuesday from noon until 2 p.m., where we feature one guest per hour on their ladder of success. And this particular hour, I'm very privileged to have Sherry Gordy with me, who has a fabulous story and a great inspiration to women and entertainers around the world. And also, this segment of our show is brought to you by Barrymore, which is one of our favorite places for fine dining and one of our sponsors of our show. So at this point, I want to get back to Sherry because we've covered a lot about her famous heritage, her famous babysitters, and where she's gone to school. But let's cover why you were in Vegas and with the downfall or the economic downfall of real estate. So you changed careers from being a mortgage and real estate broker. Now you're into what are you going to do next? So how did you come up with Sherry Gordy Presents?
Well, I want to let you know I'm still currently a mortgage real estate broker. Actually, I'm currently doing my 45 hours of continuing ed that I do every 4 years, so that just came up. So I've been busy with that. And I used to have a show on the Strip called Tickle Me Tuesdays that I produced.
I did not know that.
Yes, and it was a comedy show, and I just happened to go to a show in Los Angeles that I loved, and I said, wow, I want to do this in Vegas. And then I had a girlfriend say, you can. Let's just do it. I said, okay.
So you've never produced anything before?
Well, I mean, Tickle Me Tuesdays, the comedy show.
So that was the very first
and
one?
And that was right on the Strip. It was at the Blue Note.
Okay.
And it was a dinner show. And so we brought in a lot of comedians that you see on BET, Comic View, and they're on their own movies now and everything. So I was using, my dad was my sponsor, and I went through a lot of money in the first 3 months.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So we had to take a hiatus and relook at everything because I was just spending money like water. And my dad said, okay, you get your own spot.
So basically you got to do on-the-job training, and your dad was helping.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
Well,
right.
Monetarily.
Right, monetarily.
But it was your work.
Right, yeah.
So basically that's how you cut your teeth on producing.
Right.
And so from there?
And then from there, I just, I like the shows here, the open mic shows, how they have the people come up and sing. And I said, I want to do something like that, but I want to make it bigger. I don't want it just to be just regular. I want it to be something really special. So I didn't know. I played around. I flew in a couple of comedians. Speedy, he was very loyal. He was my host at Tickle Me Tuesdays, and he's out of L.A. And so I just was like, just test marketing, to see how it would work. And then it worked really well. And then next thing you know, boom, we get an offer over at Club Tequila from Stations Casino, and they offered me the room there. And then everybody just came out the woodworks. I mean, people were just calling, and I didn't have to call any artists to come out here. They all have reached out to us and said, we want to come. And then my best friend, Cindy Street, the late Richard Street, former lead singer of Temptations, the first big show was his Temptation group. So, she sponsored that whole show. And then next thing you know, we had the Mary Jane girls, and then we had Papa Joe Jackson, did a tribute to him, and then we had the Dramatics, L.J. Reynolds featuring the Dramatic. It just kept going, and the Harold Melvin's Blue Notes, and Mark Wood from Lakeside, Captain Mark Wood. It was just like they were all reaching out. Paris Escovedo band, a 13-piece band. I mean, it was just like, wow. And I didn't even believe Paris. It was so funny. He sent me an email, and he's like, I'm Paris Escovedo. And I'm like, yeah, right. And so he was so persistent. And then one night, driving from L.A., I listened to his radio interview. And I said, that's really him. I have to get back to him. And so I told him, I'm so sorry. Thank you for your persistence. When do you want to come out? And so everybody's so supportive.
When you think about, there are thousands of talented entertainers here in Vegas, because it is a compilation of a lot of talent, but there's very few venues that they can really showcase themselves. And you have presented a phenomenal program that people can do that. And I mean, Stephen and I are blown away with the talent on the stage.
Yeah.
And even from people who are not famous, but it gives them an opportunity to sing. And I want to go into a little bit about your the awards you've given out, but let's talk about the open mic part, because I have to tell you that's like the last hour of the evening.
Well, we have 3 sets.
Okay.
So the first set, the host opens, and then the second and third set, they do open mic. But sometimes the first set runs over, depending on who it is, hosting, the crowd, the reaction. They're like, do you want more? Yeah. So sometimes we don't have room, when we have those special nights when the artists come down. And so it is absolutely wonderful. The talent here in Las Vegas is just phenomenal. And so I wanted to, make something big where they can be together with the big, Grammy winning artists that come out, and so they can get together, and just the whole community I wanted to bring together. I saw some separation when I first started, and, and I said, there's plenty of room to go around, there's plenty of room. Everybody has a different show, even though we all have an open mic experience. But I wanted to give a tribute to my father as well. That's why I have the tribute every Thursday night to my dad and all his artists. And so it's like they're watching everybody. It's really neat.
I never thought about that, but I love that Motown Presents, and featuring the Motown sound.
Right.
But you're right. With the
those big
TV
trons up there, those jumbotrons,
yeah.
And it's got that up there, and it's got all the artists, and it's like they're looking down on the artists, blessing them, and I really love that so much, because we really have been blessed.
Oh, my goodness.
We really have been blessed on that stage.
Now, when you talked a little bit about the separation, what were you referring to?
What did I say?
But it was like, as far as the groups?
Oh, I'm saying as far as the town is concerned.
Okay.
Like people come to my show on this night, just it wasn't a together. That's why I came up with the Christmas CD, to bring everybody together. So, because together we stand, divided we fall. Let's come together. Let's support each other.
Excellent. And that's what's so neat about that open mic, because we saw one night a gentleman came with his trombone.
Right.
And then you think, oh, trombone. And go, oh, my gosh, you're blown away with the sound of that. And let's also give a nod to your musical director, Skip Rice.
Skip Rice.
Rhythm Nation.
Right.
Phenomenal. They follow everybody.
Oh, man, they are absolutely the best.
So how did you get together with Skip?
Well, he started out, he was one of the original band members, and then he became the musical director. And then I ended up hiring his lovely wife. She just came on board as a bookkeeper, and she was so good. I mean, first she was just helping with notes, when we'd have our meetings, and she'd type up these notes, and she wasn't on the team at all. She was just helping out. And I was like, wow, she's really efficient. So I asked her, would you mind, being an accountant for the night and paying everybody? And she said, yeah. And she did such a great job. She started sending me these Excel spreadsheets. I was like, whoa, she's really good. And then I ended up saying, do you mind being my personal assistant?
Excellent.
And so she started as personal assistant, and now she's the vice president of Sherry Gordy Presents. And Sherry Gordy Presents is pretty big. It's not just here in Vegas. And she does a phenomenal, because I don't know, I come from mortgage, so she knows all the singers. So she's like, you really need this person to be the host. And I was like, are you sure? She goes, yes. And I trust her, and she gets these hosts on there, and I'm like, wow, thank you, So we run a real tight ship. We have a very small staff, very small. Basically, it's just me and Lillian running everything day to day, but we do.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's really tough.
And you know what? It also goes to show with Lillian's example, if you get an opportunity to do something, do the best of your ability because you never know where it's going to go to.
Right.
And here she turned up something where she was just doing to help out, turned it into actually a career.
Yeah.
And I know she's retired from another career, so this is like her second or third career. So that is amazing. So thank you, Lillian, and actually I know Lillian on a personal level on the side as well. So she's a great lady.
Yes.
And I like the fact of women who are detail oriented because that's how you do great business.
Right. Right.
And then from there, so Skip is your musical director now.
Right.
And he actually follows a lot of the singers when they come on stage. He can basically play a lot of different...
Yeah, the whole band. They can play everything. Plus he can sing. He opens up, he sings. And they're just all talented. And so...
Well, let's talk a little bit about your open mic then. So anybody can come, and this is at Sherry Gordy Presents, and it's at Club Tequila, which is at Rancho Fiesta.
Right.
And you're there every Thursday night. So what time would someone have to get there to get on the list? How does that work?
They really should get there when the doors open at 7.
Okay.
Because sometimes the list they're not able to make it on, But we try to get everybody on. We try to limit it to 3 minutes, so each performer, because it's a great platform to expose them, and they love doing it. I mean, they just come off that stage and they're just, it's a natural high. They just love. I was like, wow, because I don't know what that feels like, to get up there and just sing your heart out and come off that stage, and they really love. They enjoy
and just
doing
feel like
it.
they nailed it.
Yes. And so we do professionals and semi-professionals. We do have a clown Peanut, and if you do not know the words or you don't sound good, then the clown will get up and clown you off, and it's all in fun. We don't mean any harm. It's a fun piece of the show that we like to do. We don't want anybody to take it, serious. It's just,
It's a fun entertainment.
Right.
And it's great. And for our listening audience, that Sherry Gordy Presents, it's actually entertainment, but there's a huge dance floor so you can dance to the music.
Yes.
And they have a great DJ.
Right.
And it's DJ Benzo.
Yes, DJ Benzo.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Yeah. We just wanted to create a place for the baby boomers, for you to come to a safe environment, dress up if you want, and listen to music, dance, or live, audience, and live band, and listen to some great talent, and have a cocktail after dinner and dance and just have a good, safe night.
Absolutely, and it's a lot of fun, and I have to tell you, this is such a well-dressed group. Stephen is known in town because he always dresses, and he's one of the few who ever does, and that's the only place we've ever been to that he has competition as far as the best-dressed man in a room. So I always love that part about that, and because women dress nice everywhere.
Right,
They're always in cocktail dresses,
right.
and the guys always usually look like bums, except for at Sherry Gordy Presents. So you're gonna
Thank you.
see some styling men, and I love that. So basically, you don't have to audition for you?
No.
Before you can just come on the open mic.
You can just sign it, and if you're no good, I'm telling you don't want to get clowned out there.
Well, it's like, because every time that we've been there, every act was actually excellent, so I thought you did audition them first.
No, some we may say, like if we, it depends. They can come and sign up, and it's up to them if they feel that they're...
Oh, okay.
If they feel that they're professional or semi-professional. We have clowned a couple people.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh, it was really funny. It was really funny. And one guy took it real serious. It was sad, but I told him.
Like the Gong Show then.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's fun. It's all in fun. Clown Peanut was up there clowning somebody I really liked, Jessica Jinjin. And I was like, no! And I was up there for it. It was just fun, She didn't take it personally. So.
Now it makes sense, because I didn't know what the clown was for. I see you dancing around.
Yeah,
I never saw him actually do anything.
Right.
So
right. And then it's like there might be somebody's kid there and he doesn't want to do, and we say, get up there, and he won't go. And so it's really all in fun. It's just fun.
I love that, Sherry Gordy. I love these stories, and this is what's so neat about finding out, because people will want to go there and to see the acts, see the performance. You never know what guest star you're going to have there,
in the room.
Or whether your famous dad's going to show up again, like he did on Thursday night. But one thing I'd like to address is that her website is www.sherrygordypresents.com. that's plural.com, where you can find out what the upcoming acts are going to be for the most part. We also have a special Soul Festival that's coming up next month, and we want to bring that up information soon. But at first, I'd like to take a break for our sponsors, and this is Carolyn Jacobs with the Jacobs Ladder Show.
The Las Vegas Distillery is the first distillery in the history of Nevada. The Las Vegas Distillery spirits are handcrafted from grains to bottle. Vodka, rum, whiskey, bourbon, moonshines, and the house specialty, Rumsky, a blend of our rum and whiskey. 93% of all ingredients come from Nevada's Winnemucca farms. Please come by and visit the Las Vegas Distillery's 2 custom-made Copper Angel stills. You are welcome anytime. Located at 7330 Eastgate Road, Suite 100, Henderson, Nevada 89011. Or call 702-629-7534 or go visit www.lasvegasdistillery.com. Come by and taste our new Grandma's Apple Pie Moonshine. Think locally, drink locally. The Las Vegas Distillery. There's eating out and there's dining. Fine dining at the Barrymore. At the Barrymore, you dine on gourmet food in an elegant setting with outstanding service for a fraction of what you would expect. The Barrymore is located in the Royal Resort at 99 Convention Center Drive. You can experience the Barrymore Sunday through Thursday from 5:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. and on Friday and Saturday from 5:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, there's live entertainment at the Barrymore. For reservations, call 702-407-5303. And if you really want to take a look at this elegant restaurant before you arrive, go to www.barrymorelv.com. That's www.barrymorelv.com. Barrymore's. It's more than eating out. It's dining.
Hi, you're listening to Carolyn Jacobs with the Jacobs Ladder Show. We're here every Tuesday from noon until 2 p.m. You can always find us at www.JacobsLadderShow.com. You can listen to us live at that time, or if you'd love to, just go to our website and scroll down to the bottom of the page, and we have 6 months of our last interviews that we have done. And actually, a friend of yours, C.C. Spencer, was on a few weeks ago. And I think 2 weeks ago I had on Karen Jones, who's an international jazz singer. So there's lots of different guests that we've had on the show. This segment of our show is sponsored to you by Raiding the Rock Vault, which is playing at the LVH. And Sherry,
love the Raiding the Rock Vault.
Sherry was there at least one night, I know, that
Yes,
Stephen and I were there. Yeah. And so it's a great show. But let's talk a little bit about, you've got a phenomenal show that's coming up next month, and it's the Las Vegas Soul Festival 2014.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh, I'm so excited about it. It's a benefit for cancer, powered by the Lazarus Cancer Foundation. And what they do, they build a bridge to hope, dignity, and life for cancer patients and their families. And they provide financial assistance to defray the costs associated with patient participation. And what they do is they provide community education, outreach services, navigate their clinical trial outreach, and their mission is to provide resources for cancer patients who've been told that they have no other option but are not yet done with their journey in life and refuse to give up. So it's a really great cause.
And this is great. And they actually asked you to be a partner with them.
Yes, and I was so excited because, charity and philanthropy is really my passion.
Because you have your own foundation.
I have my own foundation. It's called the Sherry Jackson Foundation. I founded in 2004. And I'm also a director on the Gordy Family Foundation. And so that's where I got my training. And I just loved it. I said, I just want to do this all the time, It was really phenomenal.
Now, is there a website for your foundation that people can go to at
Well,
this
if they
point?
just Google the Sherry Jackson Foundation, they'll see it. It comes
Yes,
right
well,
up. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. And then for the Soul Festival, you actually have a great
Lineup.
group of
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yes.
And so people, to get tickets to this, tickets are still available. And this is going to be Saturday, April the 14th.
12th.
Oh, is it 12th? Sorry.
Yes,
Sorry
Saturday,
about
April
that.
12th. That's okay.
And so the doors open at 6. The show's at 7.
The doors open at 5.
Okay, great. I'm looking at the website.
I know,
got
I'm
to remember.
sorry,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, perfect. Please, let me know. And so the show starts at 7? That's correct?
The show starts at 6.
Oh, my
The
gosh.
doors open at 5. The show starts at 6.
So some website I went to had the wrong information. That's important because
Right.
it is at UNLV Thomas and Mack Center.
Right.
I do have that right. Okay, 1 out, 5's not bad.
Right.
Now, the acts there are pretty great. In fact, Ray Goodman and Brown has been on your show.
Right. And the Dramatics.
And the Dramatics, okay, and then you got Tony, and then you got Next and Cameo. I mean, you start listening
Right.
to these famous
Function,
names.
and we have Lenny Williams, who's the ambassador for the Lazarus Cancer Foundation.
Oh.
Yes, and then we do some honors. This is their 3rd year. This will be my 1st year with them.
Oh, that's
so
great.
We honor, a sports figure. We honor a politician, or they give out some scholarships. I mean, it's a really great cause. And the Lazarus Cancer Foundation, they're going to stay here at UNLV, and the proceeds are going to help the cancer patients here in Las Vegas.
Excellent. We like the money that we raise here to stay in Vegas.
Right.
That's perfect. Oh, I
Right.
love that.
Right.
Oh, that's great.
Right.
And so that is part of and remember this, for your next month in April, it's the Las Vegas Soul Festival 2014. So we
Right.
want you to participate with that. I want to just step back a little bit because I forgot to mention this on the Sherry Gordon Presents. You actually had this great contest going on in Houston.
Right.
You had a contest that for 5-week series.
Right.
That for a winner to come and actually perform here in Vegas. So what made you think about that, and how'd that go?
Well, I have to give that to John Anthony from Legit, the group Legit, the famous group Legit. And they are the producers as well, and the hosts. And so we came up with the thing. It's called Stage, the number 2 stage. So it's a 5-week competition. It's still running again for the second 5 weeks. And the winner gets all expense paid trip to Las Vegas, accommodations, and they get to perform on the big stage with Rhythm Nation, live band. So we're also opening up the first Saturday in May, and that'll be in Seattle, Washington. And we're also doing some other cities around Texas and Louisiana, and we're just getting requests. I mean, we're getting requests all the way from the UK. I mean, it's unbelievable.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's just awesome. It's really a blessing.
And it's a great way for artists to be known.
Yes, and it's so much fun, especially when we went to Texas. I'd never been to Texas. So it was really fun, and that Southern hospitality was just, they treated us really well.
Now, the winner of that contest is Willie Winters.
Willie Winters won the first one, and it was tough, I'm telling you. Those people
Lots of
out
talent.
there, oh, it was so good.
And so he's actually going to be performing at Sherry Gordy Presents on what date?
March
20th, right? March 20th. And Ariel is going to be the host that night.
Yes, he's coming back to host.
Oh, that's going to be great. Now, you have actually given a couple of different Lifetime Achievement Awards and then a special groundbreaking award. And I have to, let's talk about Dr. Prince Spencer, because I saw that video last night and it was so inspiring.
Right. It was just an incredible honor to be able to honor him. It was just incredible. He's the last living stepbrother. From the famous Step Brothers.
And this is a groundbreaking dancing
yes.
troupe of 4.
Right.
And they were on the Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis and actually broke some ground with the
hotels. They broke some ground because they would not go on stage unless Prince Spencer was allowed. And one of the things that they had said, Dean Martin or Jerry Lewis said that they found them eating in the dressing room, and he made sure that they come to eat with them. And it's just incredible.
Now, in this day and age, it's a horror of us to even think about that at that time of life. But the fact that Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis took a stand.
Right.
And then that helped break the ground for a lot of
Sammy
famous,
Davis Jr.,
Dorothy Dandridge,
Lena
Horne,
all of them. He ground broke for all those people.
I love that.
And he was so surprised. We surprised him. And he was just so humbled and just such a sweetie pie. He's 96 years old. He's very handsome. He doesn't even look 96. And it was just really an honor for me.
Now, if you go to Sherry Gordy's Presents, actually her webpage, or is it your webpage?
Yeah,
right.
It's under Music tab.
There is a video, and you can actually watch a beautiful 15-minute video, which is a history lesson to me. I loved it, and it was phenomenal, and I really
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
And you also gave Billy Nunn a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, yes. He really deserved that, and thanks to Lillian. We honored Billy, and I've always loved Billy. I mean, he's been with us from day one. August 1st was our opening, and he's been on the stage, and we totally surprised him. He had no idea. He was so excited. So 7 months.
Oh, my gosh. You have accomplished so much in such a short period of time. Think about all the artists now who have another platform to perform on.
Yes, and we're going to take it on to bigger and better things. I mean, it's moving really fast. I mean, we need, poor Lillian and we definitely need a call center just to answer the calls. I just want to apologize to everybody out there. We are getting to the calls. Just give us a little time because it's just her and I, and it's just really, and I want to thank God it is overwhelming. I'm not complaining about it, but it's just, we just can't do it within one, which we want to get back to everybody as soon as we can. It's just...
Well, Sherry Gordy, I am so proud to call you a friend of mine. I'm proud of your work. I am so proud of the fact that you have another venue that famous entertainers and beginning entertainers have a platform to come and perform.
Right.
And what we're going to do is take a quick break. And when we come back, I'd like to bring up your cousin.
Thank you.
And it's Robert Gordy Jr., and he's got some interesting stories to share about the famous family.
Yes, he's got some great stories. He gives me bedtime stories of everything all the time.
Oh, that is so great. And you're listening to Carolyn Jacobs with the Jacobs Ladder Show, and we're going to be back in a couple of minutes with Sherry Gordy and her famous cousin, Robert Gordy Jr. Let me introduce you to the Las Vegas Distillery. It is the first artesian craft distillery in the history of Nevada. They manufacture in the traditional way from grain to bottle. Their handcrafted spirits include vodka, gin, rum, whiskey, bourbon, moonshine, and the house specialty created in Las Vegas called the Rumsky, a blend of rum and whiskey. The Las Vegas Distillery uses grains grown in Nevada by Winnemucca Farms. They distill in small batches and are an open distillery. Come and take a tour Monday through Saturday at 7330 Eastgate Road, Suite number 100 in Henderson. You can go to their website, www.lasvegasdistillery.com. Support our local businesses. Remember the Las Vegas Distillery for your events, office, and private parties. Think local, drink local. The Las Vegas Distillery.
Raiding the Rock Vault, the ultimate classic rock concert by those who rock it, is back in Las Vegas in the famous showroom at the LVH Hotel and Casino. Raiding the Rock Vault is the story of classic rock, performed by the members of some of the greatest rock bands in rock history with classic songs from the Rolling Stones, The Who, The Doors, The Eagles, Queen, AC/DC, Deep Purple, Journey, and more. Written by Grammy Award-winning producer David Kirschenbaum and producer John Payne. This all-star concert features guitarist Doug Aldrich, guitarist Howard Leese, lead vocals by Robin McCulley, Paul Shortino, and Andrew Freeman, drummer Jay Schilling, and keyboardist Michael T. Ross, with lead vocals and bass guitar by John Payne. This live concert experience starts at 8 p.m. Fridays through Tuesdays in the LVH Hotel Casino showroom. Get your tickets now at the LVH.com or call 800-222-5361 or visit the LVH box office. Remember to like Rating the Rock Vault on Facebook. See you there. It's all rock and roll, baby.
This is Carolyn Jacobs with the Jacobs Ladder Show. We're here every Tuesday from noon until 2 p.m. And this segment is brought to you by Rating the Rock Vault, which is playing at the LVH. In fact, my special guest, Sherry Gordy, and I have been there to even watch it together one night.
Right.
And but let's talk about Sherry Gordy, who is the daughter of the very famous founder of Motown. And her mother was a songwriter and in the music industry, so she comes from some great roots. And her cousin's with her in the studio today, Robert Gordy Jr. And we've talked a little bit about the Soul Festival 2014. That's going to be next month on April the 12th. Now, you wanted to say something else about that festival?
I just wanted to say that, it's brought to you by Cancer Lazarus Foundation. It's a benefit for cancer and CAA International, Jimmy J. Smits. And we strongly feel that the Las Vegas Soul Festival has the potential to be one of the largest festivals on the West Coast. With the help of uniting our community leaders, together we can make this event a successful global attraction. We want to bring in, money, we're the capital entertainment of the world, so what better city? And
it gives us someone another avenue of entertainment when you think about this, and great quality entertainment. So you're absolutely right. So rather than some of these other festivals that Nevada's famous for, let the Soul Festival be excellent.
Right, and you'll be saving a life, because that's the benefit of it. You'll be saving, extending somebody's life.
And that's great, because it is for cancer. And the other thing is, even over the weekend when we were out, I had people come up to me and ask me, are you going to be at the Soul Festival? I said, absolutely am I going to be at the Soul Festival. So you were going to say something about the Soul Festival?
Oh, that's right. I have one last thing. I want to invite you guys. Here's a special VIP.
Ooh.
Would you like to come?
Oh my God! I am holding my hand. A wonderful invitation. Thank you.
Thank you so
Stephen
much.
and I would love to be there, and I can't wait. And you have done such a great service for the community and for artists. And it's a great avenue with that. So at this point, thank you, Sherry, for sharing this with me. I'd like to introduce Robert Gordy Jr. And Robert, how are you today?
I'm doing really great. Thank you so much for having us.
Okay, now, Robert, you have a very good distinction of what are you involved with right now?
Well, personally, I'm a salesperson. Furniture salesman with Walker Furniture, and I've been with them over a year and a half, and we've been doing really great. I've been in sales for over 25 years, but before that, I worked for Sherry's father at Motown in the music publishing division, Jobet Music, which Sherry's father had. My father, Robert Gordy Sr., he ran it for over 30 years, and they handled all the music publishing for Motown. I mean, it was a huge catalog, 15,000 songs, probably worth over $500 million now.
Oh, my gosh.
And but we ran it. I worked for Sherry's dad on and off over 20 years. The last 8 years I was copyright manager and administration under my father, Robert Gordy. But I used to love telling Sherry stories, when she was a little girl, because she, came up in the mid-'60s, and me and her other older brothers and sisters were there when her father actually got started back in the mid-'50s, and he wrote songs for Jackie Wilson. And that's how he got his reputation. A lot of people know that he was a great, prolific songwriter, and he wrote Jackie Wilson's first 5 big hits. And then from there, he met people like Smokey Robinson that encouraged him to start his own record business. But he was just a magnet. He just, caused all the great talented people in Detroit, all the jazz musicians and artists coming right out of high school, Smokey Robinson, Donald Ross, Holland Dozier and Holland. And as a child, my father, Robert Gordy Sr., used to take me with him to Hitsville, which we were only maybe a mile or two away from Hitsville. There was times I used to walk there. And I would tell Sherry that being a kid, 8, 10 years old, to see all these people, they didn't know they would be legends one day. They would be suit and tie every day at this little studio, creating great music. Smokey Robinson, Holland Dozier and Holland, and Norman Whitfield, and the Four Tops, and the Temptations, and Martha and the Vandellas, Dinah Ross and the Supremes. And these people, they were so down to earth, and just regular people, didn't know they were creating history. They were just creating great music from their own creativity. And so it was just a wonder to see this energy and all this creative energy, and it all came from Sherry's father, Barry Gordy. And people really don't know the real story of how all of this creative energy was just coming together very naturally. And it was just a phenomenal thing as a child. I mean, I remember being able to, when Mary Wells had the big #1 hit, My Girl, or My Guy, and she got a chance to open for the Beatles. When the Beatles came to Detroit at the Olympia Stadium, we got a chance to see it. And so we were right there. We were one of the first people in 16,000 theater to see the Beatles. Mary Wells opened up the show. But a lot of excitement. And I used to tell Sherry stories of how her father started at places like the Greystone Ballroom in Detroit, and she'd have a music competition. Marvin Gaye against Smokey Robinson, the Four Tops against the Temptations, Martha and the Vandellas against the Supremes, and it was just all this competition and all this collaboration, and it was just a beautiful thing. Even in the late 50s, early 60s, to see people coming together. It was most multi-ethnical, multicultural group of people, Italians, Irish people, Jewish people, women. He had an assistant, Susie Aikida from Japan. And he's had all these phenomenal people who just came together, and it was just a phenomenal, unified group of people, all these great musicians that he had cultivated from Detroit and all the different places. And it was just very exciting to see that it kind of grew up very naturally, So, a lot of these great things we share stories, for a long, long time, and it's just great that she is continuing that legacy of what her father is doing. She's just so energetic and so exciting, and she brings people together. And it was so wonderful to see her father come in last week, because I could see the connection, and it's like him handing the torch off to her, and having her continue his great legacy and his ability to bring people together. So I just want her to just continue on, and know she's got full support of the family and the community. Everybody is so happy for her to just do it from week to week, and it just goes off, phenomenally without a hitch.
Robert, you put it so succinctly.
Gosh,
that was so great that she basically, she's taken over the torch, and here it is. It's a legendary family, and you're continuing the whole idea of this and providing a avenue for artists to sing at. I think this is great, and thank you, Robert, for sharing this. I love it.
I know. Imagine the bedtime stories I get. Oh my God! I said, you need to write a book.
Well, Sherry, anything you'd like to say to our listening audience before we?
Yes, I would. I would like to give a special shout out to my behind the scenes, Will Patterson, Capucine Holmes, Carrie Brown, Cinnamon Sands, Jenny, Don Williamson, Daryl Gordy, Janaea Vargas, Rochelle Ritchie, Arnie Gray, photography, Matthew Thompson, does our graphics, Marvin Foster, Lawrence Harris, Luana Bell. These people are really the behind the scenes, and they help us, of course, John Anthony as well, and Skip Rice, music director. Oh, and a special shout out to Charlie Gordon, who's my business advisor out in Florida.
Oh my gosh, this is so great.
So thank you guys so much. I love you.
And
We Vision Entertainment, absolutely. We Vision.
Oh my gosh. Now, would you be willing to come back and share more stories with us later on?
Sure, yes. I feel like I'm getting good at this now. No.
And you are. I love it. Hey, it's in the genes.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for what you're doing with Sherry Gordy Presents. Thank you for the Soul Festival 2014. And thank you for everything you're doing for all these great artists. And thank you. That is a great place for Stephen and I to go to on Thursday nights.
Thank you.
It is wonderful.
You're welcome anytime.
You're listening to Carolyn Jacobs with the Jacobs Ladder Show, and we're here every Tuesday from noon until 2 p.m. And have a great day.
Opinions expressed on this program were those of the hosts and guests and did not necessarily reflect those of Vegas All Net Radio, its affiliates, or its parent company.